Hello, viewers, and welcome back to Sip and Talk with Vikram. In this section of book reviews, I bring to you some interesting books by interesting authors. I hope you are loving this series as much as you are loving my interview series. Today, I'm going to introduce you to one book which I have read recently. It is called Unlimited Energy. This is written by Deepak Devraj. Thank you, Deepak, for sending me this book for reviewing. He has personally autographed in this book, and I'm going to cherish this in my library collection forever. So, this book talks about the energy fields of human beings, how it is in tandem with the cosmic energies. You see, this entire universe is nothing but various forms of energy, and so are we. So, it is all energy abundantly flowing through us. And this book is spanned out into 26 chapters, including the introduction and the conclusion. So I'm going to quickly take you through this book. And this is about 145 pages, and this is priced at 200 rupees. This is a power packed book. All these chapters are about certain special, important aspect of our life which controls our energies. And to write a book like this in such a concise manner means it is totally focused and it is totally concentrated with all the philosophies. So hang on with me, stay till the end, don't go away. Those who are new to this channel, please subscribe, please hit the bell icon to stay notified forever, and please do keep posting your comments on how you are liking this. So let me go ahead talking about this book, Unlimited Energy. So chapter one is the introduction chapter, and it is introducing about contents of this book. And it says that human beings are wonderful creation of God. God has blessed humans with infinite powers and unlimited capabilities. We know that. And we just need to realize and explore these gifts given to us by God and tap into them whenever we need them for a good intention or purpose. However, any knowledge related to self development, self exploration, self healing, etc., is not at all included in the current education system. And it has very little to offer to an individual when it comes to realizing the abilities and the infinite powers of each individual. Many people don't even know the answers to simple, inane questions like how to regain themselves when they face setbacks or failures in life. In this book, you can find various techniques that can be applied to your daily life for achieving success, health, happiness, abundance, and prosperity. So now we come to the next chapter, which is called All About Energy. Every object in this world is made up of energy. All objects vibrating at a particular frequency attracts those energies of similar frequencies. A person vibrating at a higher frequency of love, happiness, peace, joy, good health, and abundance always attracts situation similar to that frequency. If the energy is free flowing through all the energy channels and energy centers of the body without any blocks, then we can say that the person is in perfect alignment with the energies of the universe and is abundant to receive more happiness and positive energy from the universe. So, we have spoken about energies in this chapter, and the next chapter will be on yoga. Yoga is a physical, mental, and spiritual set of practices. The Patanjali's Yoga Sutra is divided into 8 levels, and these are the yamas, that is the interpersonal behavior, the niyamas, which is the intrapersonal behavior, asanas, that is the yoga postures, the pranayamas, the breathing rightly, the pratyahara, the non attachment, the detachment process, the dharana, that is the concentration and the mindfulness, dhyana, that is meditation, samadhi, that's the realization of the true self and unity with the supreme soul. Further on in this book, certain important yogasanas are described in detail, which you can read and follow. Next chapter will be about pranayama. Pranayama is a subtle process involving breathing techniques and patterns through which one can gain control over his life energies. Various methods of doing the pranayama are mentioned in this book, like Vastika, Anulom Vilom, Kapalbhati, and many others, and the benefits of each are also described in this book. So, of course, when you have done yoga, when you have done pranayama, then what comes next and most important is meditation. Meditation synchronizes the body, the mind, and the soul. Meditation is a powerful tool by which you can bring your mind to the present moment. Meditation also helps you to channelize the cosmic energy of your body and the chakras. We will come to chakras gradually. Regular practice of yoga and pranayama can make your mind calm, stable, and better prepared to focus and concentrate during meditation. All these steps are very clearly explained in this book in detail. As you go through them, you can practice alongside. It is not a rapid reader. Don't try to finish it in 1 hour. Read one thing, try to practice it. That's the essence of benefiting from this book. With this, we will come to the next chapter of Reiki. Now, what is Reiki? Reiki, here some supernatural element is involved. This yoga, uh, pranayama, meditation, there were energies within. We use those energies and we harness them for our benefit. But in Reiki, there is something supernatural. Usually, the Reiki energy is transferred by the Reiki master to his or her student. The Reiki master gathers the energy from the universe and transfers it to the patient. These are used for various kinds of healing, both physical and mental. So, after this attunement process, the recipient of the Reiki can start to channelize and make use of this life force of the cosmic energy for the purpose of self healing, stress reduction, and relaxation. So next, we come to something which is very important that connects our mind with the universe, which is called the law of attraction. The law of attraction states that whatever your mind believes with full intent and emotion, it goes on to become a reality. So, what happens is the mind has the power to attract anything that it desires. Some of the techniques can be used to implement the law of attraction. Out of them, the most important ones are affirmation and visualization. Now, these two are also explained in detail further on in this book. Sometimes people say that no, this affirmation is not helping us, but the author has explained why it doesn't work for people. Now, that is important for me to tell you right now, that sometimes we have contradictory beliefs. We just don't believe in it. If you don't believe in it, it doesn't happen because it happens with strong conviction of the mind. Then there is a inconsistent practice. Suppose you are writing an affirmation and you do it sometimes, you don't do it every day. That doesn't help. It has to be continuous practice. Next, lack of patience. We want quick results. We started affirmations and now we want that, okay, I want the result to happen. Oh, nothing is happening. 1 week has gone by. It's not that quick. Again, our own negative thoughts of fear, worry, anxiety, these things also are barriers for our law of attraction. Then lack of physical exercise, yoga, pranayama, meditation. These are the things which charge up your energy. And unless your energy is abundant and robust, how can you connect with the universal energy? So, not taking enough action when the universe provides us opportunity is a cause of law of attraction not happening for you. Another one is lack of gratitude. Sometimes we are very thankless and we take things for granted. So, if you are thankless, you don't get those things again and again. So, you have to first get rid of the causes of failure before you start practicing the law of attraction. So, with next chapter, we will talk about affirmation. Meanwhile, I'll take a hot sip of coffee, and I hope you are having a cup of coffee too. Affirmations are positive sentences that reflect the desired state of your goal. It helps you to implement the law of attraction in your life. Now, how do you do that? There are a few things to note when creating an affirmation statement. Number one, make sure that the sentence is always in present tense and add some emotions to the affirmation that I thank God for the blessings. As you say, I feel great that I am having a good health. Means again, you are telling yourself that you are having a good health. You feel great about it. You are thankful. You feel wonderful that you are in company of such good people. So if you keep telling these positive affirmations to your subconscious mind, it will start working for you. Never include any negative word in any affirmation. That if you say, God, make sure I don't get fever, make sure I don't fall sick. Now you're talking about fever, sickness, all that. These are negative words. Okay? Don't talk about those. Say, I am grateful, I'm thankful that I'm having a robust health. Our mind is the 10% part, and the subconscious mind is the 90% part. The 90% part does not analyze what is true, what is false, what is good, what is bad. It is a backend. Whatever you feed into that, it registers that. So if you keep feeding positive words, if you keep feeding positive emotions, the subconscious mind starts writing that within. And when the conscious mind interfaces with the subconscious mind, it picks out only the positive things, and thereby your life gets channelized into a positive manner. Now we come to the next chapter, and this is about visualization. Visualization is a powerful technique where you imagine yourself being in a desired state. Repeat this imagination for many days or months till it becomes a reality. Now, what is the difference between an affirmation and visualization? In affirmation, you made a statement, you are writing that every day. Okay, you're writing in a journal or somewhere, you are writing that every day, and you are repeating it into your mind. But in visualization, you are sitting and you are having a three-dimensional view from your mind. You are closing your eyes and looking within, and you are having a three-dimensional views within your mind. You can see yourself in that state. Visualization can do wonders into your life by keeping you in a state of bliss and thereby help you to cure any kinds of illness or diseases also. Visualization and affirmation allow you to change your limiting beliefs, assumptions, and opinions about self. Talking in about opinion about self, you have to believe in yourself, and that is what the next chapter is about. Stay tuned with Sip and Talk with Vikram. Don't go away till the end. Everyone is gifted with many capabilities, talents, and skills. As we move through our journey of life, it is up to us to discover these hidden talents. Successful people are those who know exactly where they stand and what they want to achieve in life. These people are fully aware of themselves, they are aware of their skills and capabilities. They make sure that they sharpen their skills regularly so that they remain competitive so as to catch hold of any opportunity that comes by their way. So they're always prepared to receive an opportunity, to grab it. This is what self belief is about. Another very important characteristic of these people is that they believe in themselves. They know that there is no goal or desire in the world that cannot be achieved. They know that they apply their mind to any goal, they would surely be able to achieve it. So you should have that kind of self confidence that if you go out and if you try to achieve it, you will achieve it. Okay. I hope you are enjoying all these concepts that have been beautifully explained. And now we come to the next chapter, grounding. Now, grounding is a very effective technique that gives you a solid foundation for yourself. Grounding mainly focuses on activating and strengthening our root chakra so that we don't get to face difficulties like low confidence, lack of money, insecurity, etc. There are different ways of grounding ourselves. How? Physical activity. Go for a walk. Connect with nature. Do some gardening. To feel the soil. Touch the soil with your hands. Don't think your hands will get dirty. We are all made up of the same elements that the earth and soil and the trees. We are just made up of the Same elements, try to feel it, try to touch it. Then practicing Surya Namaskar. This is a particular yoga position which gives you a lot of benefit. So the next chapter is about gratitude. Coming to gratitude, gratitude to the Almighty is very powerful form of a prayer for having blessed us with such a wonderful life. Everything we have in our life is a gift from the God, and you have to be thankful for the every blessing you have received. You have to realize that you are a gifted person, and you have to be thankful for the giver of these gifts. The beautiful planet that we live in, the water that we drink every day, the fresh air that we breathe in, the nourishing food that we take several times a day, and many more things that can be thought of in life are all wonderful blessings. Don't take them for granted. Many people are not getting it. How many of you agree with me, viewers? Most of you watching this channel are gifted people. You are endowed with so many blessings. And this calls for ample gratitude to the giver of these blessings. If you agree, please type in, yes, I'm grateful. Gratitude helps to increase the positive energy in our mind and body. With this, we come to the next chapter, which is about forgiveness. Forgiveness is an act of forgiving someone who knowingly or unknowingly hurt you and betrayed you or cheated you. Now, this person could be your close relative or a friend or even a stranger. So, why should you forgive somebody who has hurt you? Sometimes, for some people, the act of forgiveness becomes difficult. If the person who has hurt you is very close to you or a friend, you feel badly deceived and cheated. You could have forgiven a stranger easily, but not somebody who has got your trust already. But why do you need to forgive is not because you want to absolve the other person of their sins. You have to forgive because you have to take the thorn out from your own heart and move on. The person tries hard to forget the negative event that has happened and they want to move on in life. So, what happens if the thoughts keep coming back? They will not allow you to go on ahead in life. You have to drop the baggage somewhere and then go on ahead. When we keep on holding anger or gratitude, it starts losing its calmness. Our heart starts beating faster, our mind loses focus and concentration, and it creates a lot of mental blocks. This mental block further clutters our mind with more negative thoughts. Repeated negative thoughts keep piling up, and thereby the mental blocks become bigger and bigger. So you have to take care of your happiness by letting go. So that is why forgiveness is important. And with this, we'll come to the next chapter on improve happiness. Improve happiness is like some of the steps by which we can improve our happiness are mentioned in this book. It is, first of all, exploration of our inner self. Do you really understand yourself? Do you know who you are? Do not relate yourself with the job title that you have or the relationship you are. Explore your inner self. Who is the soul that resides in your body? Try to identify that. Again, make a list of things that make you happy. Always try to see and hear positive things in your daily life. The more you see the positive things, the more positive your mindset will be. Avoid negative news. Avoid negative talks. Avoid negative thoughts. Feed your mind with positive thoughts. For this, you need to do again. You need to practice meditation. You need to practice yoga and pranayama because they maintain the energy flow. Follow a hobby or a passion. Being with family, relatives, friends, cherishing great moments of life, listening to motivational speeches, they all help you to maintain your happiness. Help and serve others will love. You will realize how immense will be your happiness when you realize that you have been useful and helpful for somebody. Try doing that in any way that you can. You will realize it yourself. Avoid negative feelings of worry, anger, guilt, or shame. Interact with small children to keep you alive and relaxed. Small children are bundles of energy. Go play with them, hug them, talk to them. You will be energized within no time. The next chapter comes about mindfulness. Being mindful is very essential to stay positive and focused in our day to day life. Every thought is very powerful indeed and is something that has a potential to shape our destiny. When we get new thoughts in our mind, we must quickly identify whether it is useful, positive thought or a negative thought which doesn't help us in our progress at all. Positive thoughts are higher vibratory thoughts, whereas negative thoughts are lower vibratory thoughts. So once we identify that it is a negative thought, we must pause ourselves right there and ask to ourselves whether this thought would help us in any way to achieve our desired results. If the answer is no, then we must replace that thought with something positive which aligns with our desired result. Now we come to the most important chapter of this book, which is auras, chakras, and nadis. An aura is a collection of invisible electromagnetic energies of varying densities which surround an object. Now, if you're seeing some divine pictures of gods, they show that there is a circle behind their head, and that is also of a particular distinct color, golden or silver or like that. They never show a black or a any gray or smoky kind of aura because they want to show only the good and the positive aura of the person they are trying to depict. So the vibratory state of a person can also be known from his aura. There are certain instruments like aura scanners that can be used to check the aura of a person. So this is about the aura of the person. Now the next important part in this is the chakra. Chakras are the energy points within the body of a person. There are mainly seven chakras in the human body, starting from the base chakra, then the chakra near your navel, then it is near your heart, then throat, then eyes, and then on the fontanel of the head, like that. It is in seven stages. Now we come to the nadis. The nadis are the energy channels. Nadi is a Sanskrit word which means the energy channel or the pathways. These energy channels transport the prana or the energy throughout our body. Another similar term used instead of nadi is called meridians in English. It is said that there are around 72,000 nadis in the human body that takes the energy to and fro. Now, the Anulom Vilom Pranayama. What is Anulom Vilom? You breathe through one nostril and then you exhale through the other. Then you breathe through that nostril and you exhale through the other. Like that, you breathe alternatively, and this invigorates both the hemisphere of the brain alternatively. So the Anulom Vilom Pranayama along with the Kapalbhati is pumping of the belly. You pump the belly and you exhale and inhale with a force. So this is very effective technique to balance and cleanse all the nadis. The next concept explained in this chapter is the koshas or the layers of experience. Now the body is said to be a structure with five layers, or these layers are called koshas. These koshas can be considered as the levels of our inner self. Now, these are the five different koshas which are called Annamaya kosha. What is your accumulation in the body through food is the Annamaya kosha, and that is our physical body. Then the Pranamaya kosha. Pranamaya kosha is our energy body, the energy that flows through the body. The Manomaya kosha is our mind. So by practicing mindfulness, meditation, we would explore this layer. Then there is Vijnanamaya kosha. It is the layer of wisdom, intuition, and consciousness. By regular practice of meditation, we will be able to tap into this layer. Then there is Anandamaya kosha. It is a layer of bliss, peace, joy, love beyond our physical and conscious mind. And this layer is Samadhi. It is a thing I have not experienced yet, but the people who have experienced have explained that it is not like going into another world. It happens through fractions of seconds, but once you connect with the universe, it is like a spark of energy. With this, we come to the next chapter: how to reprogram your subconscious mind. Now, there are two types of mind. They are the conscious and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the one that we use in our daily life for performing our duties, activities, to think, speak, walk, run. And our subconscious mind cannot distinguish between true and false, the right or wrong, or good or bad. So it is a backstage, it is a back end of your mind. Like we are sitting, we are balanced, our subconscious mind is holding us. We are not making an effort to sit straight. So, like that, if you affirm positivity to your subconscious mind, it will get printed on the subconscious mind in the layers of it, and it will respond to you more affirmatively. So, we can affirm positive thoughts to our mind at any time in the day. However, the best time is when we wake up or we go to sleep. Why? Because when we wake up or when we go to sleep, both these times your mind is in relatively more relaxed and transful stage. It is during this trance state that the mind is more receptive and capable of storing information easily to the subconscious mind. Try this, viewers. If you are trying to go to sleep, do all your affirmations and visualizations just before you go to sleep. You will notice within a few days your sleep pattern has changed, and the way you also dream in your sleep, that will also change. Great personalities make the best use of their subconscious mind to achieve the things that they really want in life. There are different ways we can reprogram our subconscious mind. Meditation is one effective way to keep the body in trance state and to focus on getting the successful end result. Affirmation is another excellent technique that repeatedly reminds the subconscious mind about the final state of our desired goal. Journaling is effective way to write your affirmations on a daily basis. Allocate a separate notebook for that. Write your affirmations on that. I'm happy that I am healthy. I am grateful that I have got a means of sustenance. I am thankful that I am having good friends around. So if you keep writing this every day, it will reprogram your subconscious mind in due course. If we write our thoughts more than 15 to 20 times every day, our whole body, mind, and cell is focused strongly on achieving our goals and desires. Which are your priorities, the five priorities in your life? Make affirmations about that. With this, we come to the next chapter, which is about increasing the positive energy at home. Okay, stay tuned with me till the end. I hope you are enjoying. I'm not boring you down. And if you are enjoying, please comment while I take a sip of coffee. Home is a place where you can relax and rejuvenate. You can say it is the outermost shell of your body. Okay, so it is always necessary to maintain your home in a proper order so that you get all the positivity in your life. Think of a cluttered home and think of a well organized home. When you step into a well organized home, the energy that comes into you is awesome. And when you step into a cluttered place, you know how it feels. So, some of the steps that can be followed to increase the positivity at home are: make sure that your home is properly ventilated. You must open your windows, let the fresh air come. Make sure every room in the house is receiving proper sunlight. You have to grow plants inside and outside your home to increase the oxygen levels and the positive energy. Dust and clean your room every day. Mop it with water. You should use water mixed with salt, because salt helps in clearing up the negative energy. Have a family time, sit together, eat together, pray together. These are the things which make a family a family. You should take a bath every day and maintain healthy hygiene. You should use Reiki to spread positivity in house. Yes, Reiki can be used on inanimate objects as well, and you can visualize the cosmic energy getting spread into each room and every part of the house. Light a lamp once or twice in a day. Lighting a lamp also gives you a lot of energy. You just light a candle and look at it, you feel, you'll naturally feel very good about it. You can pray. Praying is something, whether you believe in God, I don't know. If you are a rationalist, you'll say this, God thing is something you don't understand. It is a big support if you start believing that there is something or someone you can look up to for help. Otherwise, one feels very helpless if you think you are the everything, the beginning and the end of this universe. Repetitive prayers increase the positive vibrations of the house. Dispose of all unwanted things lying in the house. You own all old newspapers, old cans, cartons, keep disposing them, don't accumulate them. Even if you have to store them for some a little while, make a corner outside of your house somewhere. They are unimportant things. So just stack them up somewhere outside, out of your view, out of your living space. As much as possible, walk barefoot in the house so that you can remain grounded. You can transmit the ground energy into your body and exchange the energy of the earth. You can absorb the earth's energy in this way. Keep some crystals at home that increases the positive vibrations. Always affirm yourself that you are blessed to be living in such a comfortable house with all happiness, peace, and bliss. With this, we come to the next chapter, which is called Frequency and Vibration. This world is full of frequency and vibration, and we are going to look into that. So, frequency and vibration. It can also be described as the number of waves that passes a fixed place in a given amount of time. Now, these waves are continuously moving and they are passing through in an amount of time. Now, vibration, on the other hand, can be described as the overall state of the well being. Positive vibrations are high frequency feelings like happiness, love, peace, gratitude, etc. And negative vibrations are low frequency feelings like anger, fear, shame, worry, anxiety, guilt, etc. So every human being vibrates at a particular frequency. Those who consistently vibrate at higher frequencies with feelings of happiness, joy, love, etc., achieve more success and happiness in life. So it is not that you become happy if you are successful. You are successful if you are happy. Whereas those who consistently vibrate at lower frequency with feelings of worry, anxiety, anger, guilt, shame, etc., face lot of roadblocks in their life and health and emotional issues. A person who vibrates at a particular frequency attracts people who vibrate at the same frequency. This is the reason why you see successful people continue to be successful always, since they are always in the company of people similar to them in interest, profession, wealth, and way of thinking. And with this, we come to the next chapter, which is sound healing, healing with sound. Sound healing. Certain sound frequencies are used to manipulate the human brain waves to promote healing of the body and the mind. Sound frequency healing has been used to treat several kinds of ailments like depression, anxiety, clearing the energetic blocks, etc. These are There are different instruments which are used for sound healing. So sound healing provides good stress relief, muscle regeneration, and removal of toxins from the body. The healer normally conducts a sound healing session where the participants are asked to lie down on a relaxed manner on a yoga mat, and then the healer plays varieties of soothing sounds and vibrations using certain instruments, thereby immersing the participant into a sound bath. In my experience, particularly, I find the sound of rain very soothing for me. Guided meditation with soothing sounds in the background helps to program the mind of the listener with powerful mental reliefs. Now we come to the next chapter, which is called Creating Mental Beliefs to Achieve Your Goal. We have seen how powerful the law of attraction, affirmation, visualization is to manifest your goals and desires. Some of the other powerful methods in manifestation are the affirmation journaling. Now, writing something is more powerful to the mind than when we just think or read them, because here our mind, body, every cell is strongly focused into achieving our goal. Here we can keep specific time of the day for writing our affirmation. Also, we need to write these affirmations for a specific count also as per your choice. One method is described in this book, which is called 55 into 5. The 55 into 5 manifestation method is that same affirmation is written 55 times in a day for 5 continuous days. So this is one of the methods explained in the book. You can try that if it works for you. Auto suggestion. Listening to affirmation is another powerful method that allows you to be mindful of your thoughts and to program your subconscious mind in an easy manner. So just record your voice with some affirmations and listen to it. Listen to your own voice. You don't even have to write it, is a shortcut. Now, vision board. Another powerful way of to create strong beliefs in our mind is to create a vision. I've explained this to you previously. So you just visualize something positively, and you visualize it repeatedly, and this is how it will get impression into your subconscious mind. Next, we talk about neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain plasticity or flexibility. It is the brain's ability to physically change and adapt. Brain creates a neural pathway with a process called self-directed neuroplasticity. When we repeat certain thoughts using techniques like affirmation, autosuggestion, visualization, mindfulness, meditation, etc., for a long period of time, then it helps with the neuroplasticity of your brain. Now we come to the next chapter called epigenetics. What is epigenetics? The human life initially started with a single cell called a zygote, which contains 23 chromosomes from the father and 23 chromosomes from the mother joined together. And each of these chromosomes has a distinct characteristic. These characteristics can be the physical characteristics, the looks, the color of your skin, the health of your organs, or several other things. Now, when the cells multiply, the basic information coded in the DNA and the genes, they remain the same across every cell. So when the parents transfer genetic information to their offspring, they also transfer all the information about the health and the diseases. Epigenetics is the study of how genes are turned on and off by the interaction with the environment. So some of these environmental factors which turn the genes on and off are food, thoughts, emotions, exercises, environmental pollutions, etc. Now, genetics predisposition is a test by which the study on the DNA pattern or the genetic code is done, and we can come to know a whole lot of health related information about a particular person. Here we can get to know the kind of diseases that a person has a chance of getting affected with. It means that there is a likelihood of a person contacting the disease is more than the general population. Hence, you can preempt it and take care of it in advance. With this, now we come to the next chapter called How to Give Your 100% Concentration on Your Work or Study. Concentration is very important. How to give your 100% concentration on your work or study. In order to perform at our best in our life, in our every field that we work in, whether it is studies or work, we have to follow certain steps, and these are: be in a quiet place to avoid distraction. Keep your distractors like mobile phone and alerts separately and away in a silent mode, away from your reach so that you're not distracted. Practice yoga, pranayam, meditation to increase your concentration and focus, clarity, relaxation, intuition, awareness, etc. Always breathe with deep breaths. Inhale, hold, exhale. Do not breathe like a pump, because if you breathe slow, if you breathe in a rhythm, you make best use of the air that you are inhaling. Always maintain a things to do list. If you have a things to do list, you are organized. Maintain a time schedule to monitor your progress every 1 hour. After every 1 hour, ask yourself, what have I done in this hour? Believe me, if you start doing this one small thing, your life is going to change. Make frequent notes. I did this in the last 1 hour. And if you've done something good, you'll be happy. You'll want to do more of those things. If you've not done anything, you should take a cue that you really need to get on to doing something. After you complete a task, take a break so that you can rewire yourself and also allow fresh ideas to come to your mind. Now, let me take a break here and take a sip of my coffee. Ensure that your room is properly ventilated. Do a high level research on a subject and understand the importance and the value of completing your task in time. You should document your task well and document the monitoring of your task also. Make sure that the workplace or your room is always clean and tidy. Avoid unhealthy and fatty foods. Some fats are important, but not that you always have a fatty food. Try to be positive and relaxed always. Never stress yourself. Now we come to next chapter called some energy exercises. Energy exercises. Some of the tapping, stretching, or massaging exercises that make you feel more energetic and rejuvenated are mentioned in this book. One is thymus thump. Now, thumping at the middle of the chest activates the thymus gland to release more energy. Then the spleen reflex points. Thumping at the spleen reflex points, which are on the both sides of your abdomen, for better metabolism. The Wayne Cook posture. This exercise is beneficial for getting rid of stuttering, dyslexia, and learning inabilities. It helps one side of the brain to communicate effectively with the other side of the brain. Body shake. Shake your body at regular intervals. Stretch your body at regular intervals. Now we come to the next important chapter, which is called superfoods. Superfoods. Food is one of my favorite subjects, and I love to read this chapter because it says, "You are what you eat." It is a common phrase that every day we hear so frequently. It is essential that we include the macronutrients as well as the micronutrients in our daily diet. And we eat the right amount of food as per the availability, affordability, and our capacity to digest. Some of the healthy practices regarding nutrition are, which is essential for all, is drinking at least 8 to 10 glasses of water. Please always drink fresh, clean water, 8 to 12 glasses in a day. Now, that again translates to at least a glass an hour, not a big deal. Having plenty of fruits and vegetables, especially the green leafy vegetables in our daily diet, is also recommended. Facing sunlight for at least half an hour on our body every day is good source of vitamin D. Fasting once in a week for a period of 16 hours or more has a wide range of health benefits, which is like improved blood sugar control, health heart, brain function, and cancer prevention. He has also listed out certain superfoods like certain amla, aloe vera, lemons, tulsi, ginger, and garlic, turmeric, giloy. So these are some superfoods which are particularly beneficial for health. And certain supplements like ashwagandha, they are helping the overall wellness of the body. So viewers, please tell me honestly, how did you like this review? Did you really like the contents that are given in this book? It's a small book, but very big and powerful in its conviction. And I strongly recommend you to read this book. Now, let me come to you with my take on this book. So, here's my take. See, this book is a action-packed, power-packed book. Instead of 25 chapters, this could have been a volume of 25 books. Because if you start going into the depth of each concept, and if you start researching into it, it is a very vast field of knowledge. It is a knowledge of the entire civilization coming across generations over thousands of years. It is not a knowledge which is taught in classrooms. It is something you have to seek, you have to find, Now, this is a pathfinder. This book is a pathfinder. It tells you broadly about each of the things. It even gives you postures of yoga. It gives you graphical representations. It gives you tabulated information. So, this book is absolutely a pathfinder which guides you to research forward, to read more books on this subject. And that is why I love it very much. And I recommend this to you. Thank you for your patient listening. Viewers, keep joining me every week with a new book review. I look forward to meeting you. Tell me, did you like staying with me all this while? Put in your comments. Thank you. Namaste.